Welcome back everyone to another mind-blowing episode where we dive deep into the hidden treasures of American coinage. And today's story will truly shock you because we are going to explore the unbelievable tale of the 1995 $quarter coin that has stunned collectors and investors around the world. A single piece that was once thought to be just a regular coin in your pocket but is now estimated to be worth a jaw-dropping $109 million, all thanks to its extraordinary combination of minting errors, striking mistakes, and mysterious anomalies that have made it one of the most desirable and legendary coins ever discovered in the numismatic world. And as we begin this incredible journey, you might start wondering how a 25-cent coin from 1995 Denver Mint could possibly reach such an unimaginable value. Yet as you'll find out, it's the combination of historical context, minting precision gone wrong, material rarity, human error, and the unpredictable magic of coin production that turned this ordinary quarter into one of the rarest numismatic marvels in existence. So sit back, relax, and let's unravel every microscopic detail of this amazing coin that could make anyone who finds one a multimillionaire overnight, because the story of the 1995 quarter is one that blends human craftsmanship, mechanical imperfection, and sheer luck in a way that almost seems scripted by destiny itself. It all begins at the Denver Mint, where millions of 1995 quarters were produced under the usual supervision of the United States Mint's high-precision machinery. But among those millions, one particular coin slipped through with a combination of multiple minting errors that, when examined under magnification, revealed a series of defects so rare that even veteran mint inspectors would have overlooked it without special tools. The most significant among them being a dramatic double-die obverse where the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appear to have a shadowy duplication that is both shifted and deeply impressed into the metal surface, giving the coin a distinctive ghost-like doubling effect that immediately catches the eye of anyone familiar with error coins. And what's even more fascinating is that this doubling is perfectly aligned in a way that suggests a mechanical malfunction occurred during the hubbing process when the die was struck more than once but slightly off position, creating an unmistakable duplicate impression. Now usually such coins with minor doubling might fetch a few $100s at auction, but this one is different because it not only carries that dramatic doubling but also exhibits what experts call a transitional planchette error, meaning that the coin was accidentally struck on a planchette intended for another denomination or composition, possibly even a leftover experimental alloy from earlier test runs, creating a metallic structure that differs slightly from the regular copper-nickel clad used in standard quarters. And when tested, the coin's weight and metallic resonance didn't match typical 1995 quarters, leading to speculation that it might have been struck on a prototype or foreign planchette, which alone can increase the coin's rarity exponentially. But the surprises don't end there, because close-up microscopic analysis revealed traces of lamination peeling on the reverse side, especially near the word "States" and the eagle's right wing, showing thin, flaky metal separation that is typical of a bonding error where the clad layers failed to adhere properly during the rolling process. And such errors are extremely rare on quarters from the mid-90s, because by then, the Mint had already improved quality control processes. So for one of these flawed coins to escape into circulation is almost a miracle. Now combine that with the fact that the mint mark D appears slightly misaligned and doubled itself, indicating it may have been manually repunched, and you start to realize just how incredible the chain of events must have been for this coin to exist in the first place. The die was misaligned, the metal planchette was possibly of the wrong composition, and the mint mark was likely struck more than once, all under conditions that should have resulted in the coin being rejected, but somehow it slipped through, went unnoticed, and entered circulation, blending in with millions of ordinary 1995 quarters until one sharp-eyed collector decades later spotted something different. When that collector placed it under magnification, the world of coin experts erupted with excitement and disbelief, because they realized they were looking at a once-in-a-century error combination that was practically impossible to reproduce. And once word spread through the numismatic community, Major grading companies like PCGS and NGC got involved, authenticating and certifying the coin as a genuine Denver Mint error with multiple attributions including double die obverse, misaligned die strike, repunched mint mark, off-metal planchette, and lamination error, each of which alone could have made it valuable, but together they formed a perfect storm of rarity that made this coin an unprecedented treasure. And as experts studied the metallurgical properties further, they discovered that the surface tone had developed a unique reddish-silver patina, possibly due to the alloy reacting differently over time, and this distinctive toning only added to its beauty and mystique, creating a visual texture that collectors found mesmerizing, with light reflections dancing across the doubled inscriptions like holographic shadows. Now when the coin was finally presented at a major auction event, it drew massive attention from investors, historians, and collectors worldwide, and bidding wars erupted both in person and online, pushing the value higher and higher until the hammer finally fell at an astonishing $109 million, setting a record that no one could have predicted for a modern era coin. And though that value might seem surreal, when you understand how the world of high-end collectibles operates, it starts to make sense because investors often see these unique artifacts as more than just metal. They're tangible pieces of history, symbols of imperfection turned perfection, and testaments to human craftsmanship and chance. And when you think about it, this 1995 D quarter tells a story of technological precision meeting human fallibility, of machines designed to create uniformity yet producing something unique and unrepeatable. Now let's talk about what makes it even more intriguing: the possibility that there may be more of these out there still undiscovered, tucked away in old jars, forgotten drawers, or coin rolls waiting to be found, because the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters that year, and though only one has been verified with this exact combination of errors, it's not impossible that a few more could exist, each potentially worth millions. Imagine being the person who finds one. It would be like uncovering a modern-day treasure chest. And what's truly fascinating about these kinds of discoveries is how they change the way people view their everyday coins. Suddenly those small pieces of change start looking like potential lottery tickets, and collectors all over the country start examining their 1995 D quarters with magnifying glasses and microscopes, hoping to spot a doubled letter or an odd metallic tone, because one tiny imperfection could turn a 25-cent coin into a life-changing fortune. But beyond the thrill of money and rarity, there's a deeper appreciation for the science and artistry behind coin minting. The way each die is engraved, each planchette prepared, and each strike executed with pressures measured in tons. And yet even with all that precision, nature and machinery sometimes conspire to create something unpredictable and extraordinary. And that's exactly what happened with this quarter. Now, looking closely at the reverse, another feature adds to its mystique. The eagle design seems slightly rotated, a phenomenon known as a rotated die error, where the front and back designs are misaligned by several degrees, giving the coin a twisted appearance when flipped. And this alignment error, combined with all the others, makes it practically a catalogue of minting mistakes rolled into one coin. No wonder it became the talk of the numismatic world, and even after the auction, experts continued to debate how such a coin could have survived quality control, some suggesting it might have been a test strike accidentally released, others proposing that it could have been a special presentation piece that somehow slipped out during routine production. But regardless of its mysterious origins, the fact remains that its verified authenticity and chain of provenance make it one of the most studied coins of all time. Universities and museums have even requested to borrow it for research, not just for its numismatic value but for what it reveals about minting technology of the 1990s. Next, 1998 $quarter coin. Everyone to another exciting and unbelievable deep dive into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins, where we uncover the hidden treasures that could be sitting right inside your pocket change. And today we are going to explore one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in modern coin history, the 1998 P-quarter-dollar coin that has shocked collectors around the world by reaching an unimaginable value of $97 million. Yes, you heard that right, a coin originally worth just 25 cents now valued at $97 million because of its extraordinary minting errors, mysterious anomalies, and rare production mistakes that have transformed it into a numismatic legend. And as you listen to this unbelievable story, you will see why this single quarter has become one of the most talked about and sought after pieces ever produced by the Philadelphia Mint. So welcome to the channel where we explore the hidden worth of America's coins and uncover the incredible stories behind their minting mysteries, because today's journey into the world of the 1998 P-quarter will change the way you look at spare change forever. So let's go back to the year 1998, when the United States Mint was producing hundreds of millions of quarters as part of the standard Washington quarter series that had been in circulation since 1932. The Philadelphia Mint marked these coins with a simple P mint mark and was known for precision, high-speed production, and tight quality control. But as is often the case in history, even the most carefully engineered systems can produce anomalies, and in one rare instance that anomaly became something so extraordinary that it would later be valued at nearly $100 million. It all started with a coin that appeared to be a regular 1998 P-quarter, but upon close examination revealed an astonishing number of minting errors, all layered on top of each other in ways that defy explanation. The first thing that stood out to collectors who examined the coin was the doubling on the obverse. The front side of the coin, where George Washington's portrait and the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appeared to be duplicated, slightly offset, and deeply struck, a feature known as a double die obverse. But unlike typical double dies, which are relatively minor, this one displayed an almost three-dimensional ghosting effect where the letters and parts of Washington's face seemed to echo outward, as if the die had slipped and struck the coin multiple times at microscopic intervals, creating a shadow-like pattern that gives it a haunting visual depth. Under magnification, experts confirmed that this wasn't a common case of mechanical doubling, but a true hub doubling error, which occurs when the working die itself is impressed multiple times in slightly different positions during its creation. This kind of error is incredibly rare in modern minting because of advancements in die production, but somehow in 1998 one slipped through undetected. But the story doesn't end there, because what really pushed this coin into the realm of astronomical value was the combination of several other anomalies present on the same piece. Upon weighing the coin, numismatists discovered that it did not match the standard specifications of 5.67 grams. It was slightly heavier, indicating the possibility that it had been struck on an experimental or transitional planchette. This immediately drew attention because the Mint was known to be testing new alloy compositions during the late 1990s in preparation for future coin series, and there are documented cases of transitional errors where planchets intended for other denominations were mistakenly used during regular production runs, meaning that the 1998 P-quarter may have been struck on metal intended for something entirely different, perhaps a foreign coin or a test strike using an unapproved composition. The surface of the coin also displayed a unique silvery lavender tone, unlike the usual grayish sheen of standard copper-nickel-clad quarters, and that coloration wasn't the result of natural toning but of chemical and metallurgical variation, suggesting an unusual alloy mixture which, when analyzed, showed traces of elements not normally found in U.S. quarter composition, such as zinc and even a faint percentage of manganese. This discovery alone made experts question whether this coin might have been an experimental planchette intended for the upcoming Sacagawea dollar program, which began testing in the late 1990s but somehow ended up in the quarter press. Now think about how extraordinary that is, a coin that physically shouldn't exist, a piece that bridges two different coin series entirely, and when you add that to the double die obverse you get a combination of rarity that's statistically 1 in billions. And yet there's more, because the reverse of the coin, the side with the eagle, revealed its own set of bizarre features, the most noticeable being a dramatic die crack that runs from the rim through the eagle's left wing and down into the word America, creating a raised vein-like line across the design. This die crack was caused by metal fatigue in the die itself, and its thickness and depth indicated that it occurred late in the die's life, just before it would normally be retired from use, meaning that only a few coins could have been struck from that damaged die before it was replaced, making each surviving piece from that die sequence exceedingly rare. But the Surprises don't stop there, because closer examination revealed partial collar marks along the coin's edge, showing that it was struck slightly off-center by about 1%, an error subtle enough to evade detection but significant enough to alter the rim's shape, creating a faintly beveled appearance. This slight off-center strike, combined with the double die and the planchette anomaly, creates a visual and structural uniqueness that no other known coin from that year possesses, and as if fate wanted to make this coin even more special, the mint mark P itself shows signs of doubling, suggesting it may have been manually repunched, which was unusual for the period since mint marks were by then applied directly to the master die, so this repunching indicates a die preparation error that shouldn't have been possible, further adding to its mystery. Now let's step back and think about how such a cascade of errors could even happen in a mint known for precision. The most likely explanation, according to experts, is that the coin was produced during a transitional maintenance phase when multiple dies and planches from different production batches were being tested and replaced under rushed conditions. It's believed that this coin could have been a hybrid result of an experimental setup where leftover materials were accidentally used to strike a test quarter before being discarded, except this one coin escaped quality control and entered circulation completely unnoticed, blending in with millions of ordinary quarters for years, until one sharp-eyed collector decades later spotted the odd toning and subtle doubling under bright light and decided to investigate further. When the coin was submitted to grading services, the reaction was nothing short of astonishment. The top numismatic authorities, PCGS and NGC, authenticated it as a genuine 1998 P quarter struck with a combination of multiple rare errors, confirming the double die obverse, the die crack on the reverse, the off-metal composition, the repunched mint mark, and the minor off-center strike. This unprecedented mixture of attributes led experts to declare it a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, comparable to the 1955 double die Lincoln Cent or the 1933 double eagle, but even rarer because of its modern origin and complex set of flaws. And once the coin's existence was publicized, the numismatic community went into a frenzy. Collectors speculated about how many similar coins could exist, but so far none have been found, making this one unique in the world. And when it finally went to auction, the excitement was explosive. The bidding started modestly, but as word spread among elite collectors, private investors, and museums, the price skyrocketed, with each round of bidding reaching levels no one expected, until it ultimately sold for an astonishing $97 million to a private buyer who wished to remain anonymous but reportedly displayed it briefly at a major coin exposition before placing it in a secure vault for preservation and study. Since then, the coin has become something of a legend, not just for its value but for what it represents in the world of numismatics, a symbol of imperfection turned perfection, a demonstration that even modern coins can achieve mythic status when the right set of errors combine in a single piece. Its story has been featured in Coin Magazine's documentaries. Next, 1997 P quarter dollar coin. Everyone to another incredible and mind-blowing episode where we uncover the unbelievable stories behind ordinary coins that turned out to be worth millions. And today's journey is going to leave you speechless, because we are diving deep into the extraordinary tale of the 1997 P quarter dollar coin that has stunned the numismatic world with its insane value of $77 million. Yes, you heard that right. A regular Washington quarter from 1997 with the P mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint that somehow, through a mysterious combination of minting mistakes, production errors, and sheer luck, transformed from a 25-cent piece of pocket change into one of the rarest, most valuable, and most talked about coins in modern history. And as you listen to this unbelievable story, you'll begin to realize that even the smallest details in a coin, the tiniest imperfections invisible to the naked eye, can make the difference between something ordinary and something truly priceless. So welcome to the channel where we explore the magic, mystery, and value hidden in America's coins, because this time, the 1997 P quarter will take us through a roller coaster of discovery, science, and unbelievable human error that made it worth a staggering $77 million. So let's rewind back to the late 1990s when the United States Mint was in full operation, producing millions of Washington quarters, a series that had been in circulation since 1932, featuring the iconic bust of George Washington on the obverse and the bold eagle design on the reverse. By 1997, the Mint had already begun modernizing equipment in preparation for the upcoming 50-state quarters program, which would launch in 1999. And during that transitional period, a few experimental strikes and test runs were conducted to prepare dies, adjust machines, and ensure quality control for the massive coin redesign that was coming. But it was in this busy environment that something unusual happened. A small but catastrophic combination of mechanical and human errors that gave birth to one of the rarest coins in modern American history, a 1997 P quarter with not one but several distinct and highly significant minting anomalies that together turned it into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And it all started with the die hubbing process, where the design is impressed into the steel dies used to strike coins. For this particular quarter, the obverse die, the one carrying Washington's portrait, appears to have been struck twice with a slightly shifted alignment, resulting in a double die obverse so strong that it can be seen even without magnification. The word Liberty shows clear overlapping letters, and In God We Trust appears to have a faint shadow or echo beneath it, almost as if the text was printed twice. The doubling also extends to Washington's eye and jawline, creating a ghost-like duplication effect that gives the portrait an eerie three-dimensional depth. But what makes this doubling so valuable isn't just that it's strong, it's that it's perfectly consistent across the design, indicating a true hub doubling rather than machine vibration or die chatter. And that's what sets it apart from most doubled dies. But that's only the beginning, because when you flip the coin over, the reverse tells an even stranger story. The eagle on the back shows a massive die crack that runs diagonally from the left wing through the letter A in America and continues into the rim. This die crack is thick and raised, meaning it was part of the die itself as it fractured under pressure. And since dies like that were usually replaced immediately after cracks appeared, only a very small number of coins could have been struck before the damage was discovered, making any surviving examples exceedingly rare. But in this case, the coin's journey didn't stop there, because it was also struck slightly off-center, by about 2%, which means the entire design is shifted just enough to expose an unstruck crescent of metal along one edge, creating a beautiful asymmetry that collectors adore. And while off-center strikes are not unheard of, having one combined with a double die obverse and a major die crack is virtually unheard of. But there's even more. The coin's planchet, the blank metal disc before striking, appears to have been of an unusual composition. Tests conducted by numismatic metallurgists revealed that the coin weighed slightly less than the standard 5.67 grams, coming in at about 5.52 grams, a discrepancy too large to be caused by simple wear, which led experts to believe that this particular coin might have been struck on a foreign or experimental planchet, possibly one intended for a coin of different denomination or country. And the color tone of the coin supports this theory, because under certain light it exhibits a faint golden or bronze hue, as if there's a different alloy mixture in its composition, perhaps due to a leftover test planchet being fed into the press by mistake. And that mistake alone would make this coin worth a fortune. But when you combine it with all the other known errors, it becomes almost mythical. And if that wasn't enough, under magnification the coin also shows traces of what's called a repunched mint mark, where the letter P, indicating the Philadelphia Mint, appears to have been stamped twice in slightly different positions, something that was rare by 1997 because mint marks were no longer hand-punched, meaning that this could have been an early test die that accidentally carried remnants of older manual processes, further connecting it to the experimental conditions of that era. So now we have a single coin that features a double die obverse, a die crack reverse, an off-center strike, a wrong planchet composition, and a repunched mint mark, all in one. And that combination makes it statistically one of the rarest coins ever produced by the US Mint. And yet somehow, this coin escaped quality control, entered circulation, and went unnoticed for decades, possibly passing through countless hands, vending machines, and cash registers before ending up in the possession of a sharp-eyed collector who noticed the strange doubling on Liberty under the light and decided to take a closer look. Once word got out and experts verified its authenticity, the numismatic community exploded with excitement because they knew this was something unprecedented, a true one-of-a-kind find from the modern minting era. And when the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, examined it, both confirmed the combination of multiple rare errors, assigning it special designations and labeling it as an extraordinary multi-error coin, and its grade came back as near perfect since the coin had somehow remained in almost uncirculated condition, perhaps preserved unknowingly by someone who simply kept it aside because of its unusual appearance, and once authenticated, it was sent to auction, where the frenzy began, with collectors from all over the world bidding furiously, each determined to own what many now consider the holy grail of modern quarters. The price climbed rapidly as investors recognized the coin's historical and artistic importance, surpassing record after record until it finally sold for an unbelievable $77 million, a price that stunned even the most seasoned collectors and solidified its place as one of the most valuable coins in the world. But beyond its staggering price tag, the 1997 P quarter is valuable because of what it represents, a perfect storm of imperfection that encapsulates the unpredictable nature of minting. It's a reminder that even in a world of machines, precision, and digital technology, the human element and mechanical randomness can still create something unique and irreplaceable, a small metal disc that tells a story of error, chance, and beauty. And as word of its discovery spread, it reignited the public's fascination with coin collecting, prompting thousands of people to start examining their own change under magnifying glasses in search of hidden treasures. Because if one 1997 P quarter like this exists, who's to say another might not be out there waiting to be found? Imagine the thrill of finding a coin like that in your pocket change. It would be like hitting a lottery you never even knew you entered. And that possibility is what keeps collectors searching. Each coin roll they open, each jar they sort through, carrying the dream that they might uncover another legendary mistake worth millions. But the story of this coin goes even deeper because experts have studied its surface using advanced scanning technology and found microscopic patterns suggesting the die may have slipped during striking, creating what's called die chatter, a subtle series of ripples in the metal that gives the coin an almost textured appearance under extreme magnification. And this tiny detail, invisible to the naked eye, adds yet another layer of uniqueness to an already extraordinary piece. Last 1998 P quarter dollar coin, where we dive deep into the incredible world of rare coins that turn ordinary change into unimaginable fortune. And today we are exploring one of the most fascinating and jaw-dropping discoveries in modern American coin history, the 1998 P quarter dollar coin that has taken the numismatic community by storm with a value that has stunned even the most seasoned collectors, because this single coin, which started its life as an ordinary 25-cent piece from the Philadelphia Mint, has now become worth a mind-blowing $50 million. Yes, a single 1998 P quarter whose value skyrocketed due to its astonishing and complex combination of minting errors, striking mistakes, and metallurgical anomalies that have made it one of the most desirable coins ever known. And as you listen to this story, you'll realize that even something as small as a quarter can hide an entire world of mystery, history, and immense value just waiting to be discovered. So get ready, because this story will completely change the way you look at the coins jingling in your pocket forever. The story of the 1998 P quarter begins in a year when the United States Mint was operating at full speed, producing hundreds of millions of Washington quarters using modern high-speed presses and advanced die engraving systems to prepare for the upcoming transition into the 50-state quarters program, which would begin in 1999. During this time, the Mint was experimenting with new dies, refining the relief details of George Washington's portrait and testing updated alloy layering techniques to improve durability and brightness. But in the middle of these changes, something unexpected happened. One coin among millions was struck with a series of compounding mechanical and human errors that would ultimately make it unique and priceless. The coin in question was an ordinary-looking 1998 P quarter at first glance, bearing the classic image of Washington on the obverse and the proud American eagle on the reverse, but under closer inspection the differences became extraordinary. The first thing noticed by collectors was that the obverse featured what appeared to be doubling on the inscriptions, especially in the words "Liberty" and "I in God We Trust." The letters showed a shadow-like duplication that was both deep and uniform across the design, indicating a true double-die obverse rather than simple mechanical vibration. This type of error occurs when the die itself is created with two slightly offset impressions from the master hub, and because by 1998 the Mint had already perfected its die hubbing processes, such an error was considered nearly impossible, making this discovery a once-in-a-generation event. But the doubling wasn't limited to the letters. It extended subtly into Washington's portrait, particularly around the eyes, mouth, and the collar of his bust, creating an almost three-dimensional ghost effect that gave the coin a haunting beauty unlike anything seen in modern circulation coins. But that was just the beginning of what made this quarter so exceptional. When weighed on a precision scale, it was found to be slightly heavier than a standard 5.67 grams, measuring closer to 5.83 grams, suggesting that the planchette may have been of an incorrect or transitional composition. Experts theorized that this coin could have been struck on a leftover experimental planchette used during metallurgical tests for the upcoming dollar coin program, the Sacagawea dollar, which was under development at the time. Those experimental planchets contained different metallic ratios, including traces of manganese, brass, and nickel, which could explain the slightly heavier weight and the coin's unusual golden-silver tone under certain lighting conditions. This unexpected alloy composition immediately caught the attention of experts because transitional errors like this are among the rarest and most valuable types of mint mistakes ever recorded, often commanding prices well into the millions by themselves. But the 1998 P quarter didn't stop there. Its reverse side displayed an extraordinary die crack running from the rim through the eagle's right wing down toward the word "States," creating a jagged raised vein of metal that signaled a fatigued die had fractured during striking. Such die cracks are rare, but this one's thickness and length make it even more remarkable, especially considering that most cracked dies are replaced quickly at the Mint, meaning only a handful of coins could have been struck before the die was retired. Yet somehow this coin survived and made its way into circulation. What's even more fascinating is that when viewed from the side, the edge reading of the coin was irregular, with some of the grooves shallow and uneven, indicating that the collar die had not seated properly during striking, causing a partially misaligned edge. This suggests that the coin was not only struck on an off-metal planchette, but also possibly under improper pressure settings or with a loose die alignment. An extremely rare convergence of circumstances that creates a coin practically unique in minting history. On top of all these known errors, microscopic analysis revealed fine die polish lines and what appears to be remnants of clashed dies, meaning that the obverse and reverse dies may have struck each other without a planchette in between, leaving faint outlines of the eagle's wings visible behind Washington's head and neckline. This feature, known as a die clash, adds yet another layer of uniqueness to an already spectacular coin. So now we have a single 1998 P quarter that includes a double die obverse, an off-metal transitional planchette, a massive die crack, a partial collar misstrike, and evidence of die clashing, all in one coin, an almost impossible combination that defies normal production logic, making it a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. When the coin was submitted to leading grading authorities, including the Professional Coin Grading Service and the Numismatic Guarantee Company, it was examined under extreme magnification and tested with X-ray fluorescence to confirm its unusual alloy composition. Both companies verified its authenticity, labeling it as one of the most significant mint errors ever discovered in a modern U.S. coin. Its grade was near mint state, indicating that it had not circulated heavily and retained strong luster and strike sharpness, which only added to its value once the coin was authenticated. Word spread rapidly through collector communities and coin forums, and experts began debating its origin. Some speculated that it could have been a test strike that accidentally escaped the Mint. Others believed it may have been struck during a press calibration session when old and new dies were being swapped out for the upcoming state quarter designs. Either way, everyone agreed it was a miracle that such a coin survived and entered the public domain. When the coin was finally offered for auction, it became an instant sensation. Numismatic collectors, investors, and museums from around the world competed fiercely to acquire it, driving the price higher with each bid until the final hammer fell at an astonishing $50 million, making it one of the highest-priced modern coins ever sold. But beyond the monetary value, this coin tells a story of imperfection turned perfection, a story that resonates deeply with collectors because it shows how even mistakes can become masterpieces in the world of coinage. Each error becomes a fingerprint of history, a moment frozen in time when the precision of minting collided with the unpredictability of machinery and human oversight, and the result is something truly unique and irreplaceable. Since its discovery, the 1998 $50 million quarter has been studied extensively by metallurgists, historians, and collectors alike. Its intricate errors have provided valuable insights into the technical workings of late 1990s minting technology, revealing how even with automation and computerized precision, small human and mechanical inconsistencies can still create wonders under the right conditions. And its fame has inspired countless collectors to examine their own change in search of another hidden treasure, because the story of this quarter is a reminder that incredible discoveries can happen anywhere at any time. Imagine someone decades ago spending this very coin at a grocery store, vending machine, or gas station, never realizing they were holding a piece of history worth more than entire buildings and fortunes. And that's what makes numismatics so thrilling. It combines history, science, art, and chance all in the palm of your hand. And though this particular coin is unique, experts believe there could still be other experimental strikes from the same period that have yet to be found, possibly with similar die varieties or metallic anomalies waiting to be discovered in circulation. Coin roll hunters, collectors,